Hey, we're live on a Saturday night here with a Cigar Saturday. I have my good friend and co-host Matty Rock joining us live from Sanj's there in New Jersey, and a couple of other friends from New Jersey. It's Erica and Amy of a podcast we love, The Lounge Experience. How y'all doing?
Hey,
good evening. How are you?
Doing great, Tom.
It's so good to see everybody. And how's everything been going at The Lounge Experience?
Everything is great. You know, it's a new year, as you know, you're probably familiar. It's like, all right, we're ready to get rocking and rolling. New guests on, and just lots in store. Just it's awesome because we're about to celebrate our 3-year anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'll bring the balloons.
When does the 3-year anniversary happen?
It's a little self-serving because I like balloons, but I'm bringing the balloons.
Oh, you can imagine.
April 4th, Tom.
April. Wow. So when this whole thing first started, was it more of just something you said, let's try it a few times? You had no idea what happened like this, that it would unfold?
I mean, we had the vision. We knew exactly, what we wanted to do. And just, we were just talking about this on our recent podcast this past week, that, I mean, reminiscing on who we've had on. I mean, Matty, you've been on numerous of times. Tom, you need to come on.
Would love to. Absolutely.
Yeah, we've had so many people on, and just having just conversations. You don't realize, like, yeah, it's work, but time flies so much. And the vision, it stayed in place, but just adding on more and bringing different people on, not just in the cigar industry, but across different industries. So that's what keeps us like going too. It's like, keeps it fresh. It's like not the continuing conversation about cigars like we always hear. And so it's really, really nice. And I'm very happy of what we've accomplished and what we're about to accomplish.
Yeah, no, like I love what they do, Tom, because like I said, it brings all the cultural elements of the experience together. And much like what we talk about, bring different people into the fold to understand it's not just about smoking a cigar. What are all the different elemental qualities about it? It's about gelling together, being together, meeting new people, being around new people, sharing a moment. And hey, it's in the name. It is an experience. And the ability that they've been able to show people on what that experience is and broaden people's horizons. I always thought, wow, this is how you do it. It's just so cool. You bring in this new fold of people. Every time you watch, it's somebody new. Super important stuff. And that's how you bring people into your fold, Tom. That's how you do it with class and style. And you get to talk about the industry. You get to talk much like spirits and bourbons. You get to talk about that. And then again, it's constantly bringing new people into that fold. So much like what you do for a living, it's an education. And Amy and Erica offer that education and do it in a fun way, which is why I love them so much. I love them as people. I love the show. It's just really important stuff. And I couldn't be happier that we're all sitting here together today.
Thank you, Matty. Hugs.
More balloons.
More balloons. Bring more balloons for next time. Oh, I know. I'm so glad to see you all again. We talked to you all about a year ago. I can't believe it's already been a year. And how did you all first meet Matty? How did that happen?
Whew.
Oh my God.
You going, man, that's a long time.
That was a long time.
You two.
We're going to wave a cake. I remember when. But no, we're talking 12, 13 years?
No, about like 11 now. Yeah, it's a little bit less than 12 years.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Because I mean, we lost like 2 years.
Oh, that's
we don't
true.
know if that's like,
Let's just say about 12. Okay, let's just stay there.
Yeah. We'll leave it at about a long time.
A long time ago.
I met Amy when she was working at a couple cigar shops in the city, Tom. I already knew, like I said, when you're going to be around special people, you just kind of know. I'm like, yeah, this person's going to be special and be a friend for a long time.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's the beauty. Again, we talk about this industry. You start with something as simple as a stick, and it evolves into, lifelong friendships.
Right.
And that's pretty cool stuff, man.
That is such. Speaking of sticks, of course, everybody sees. I got some great whiskey behind me. I'm pretty happy about that. It's like I don't know, 10 degrees out. I decided that I would stay inside, just sip on whiskey tonight. Leave the smoking to you all. What do you all have in hand? What's everybody trying?
I gotta let the ladies first, please.
Well, we're smoking Sanj's SP 1014.
Yes.
So
I'm
how to
smoking.
start off with this?
Yeah, I'm smoking the Robusto. She's smoking the Toro, which is fantastic. As a lot of our listeners and a lot of probably your listeners have got to know a little bit about this project. It's amazing. And if you guys haven't tried it yet, you guys need to try it. You know what I mean?
Get up on it.
Get up on it.
And no, stop texting Maddie. Hey, y'all, can you ship that to me, Maddie?
No.
Come down. No. I mean, if you trade me for the right food, hashtag maybe, but no.
It is such it's an incredible smoke, that SP 1014. It is something really, really.
Yeah, it's as we've been saying over all these Mark. I'll constantly talk about my Lancero test because I love smoking Lanceros. The fact that you could pinch them and they smoke with a pinch to draw the way they draw and fully consistent every single time. And that was before Sanj came behind me with that Bowie knife.
Right, I see him.
He's gonna
thought he would sneak up behind you.
Because you've seen me do it live now on the last, dozen episodes. Every time you pinch, that thing is going to smoke. It's not going to canoe. It's going to be even, and it's going to be a treat to smoke. The reason I switched it up today a little is because I like talking about some of the new stuff. As you know, we discussed the TPE is now in the rearview mirror. So another successful TPE is in the books. So one of the new cigars released by Drew Estate, as I was working at the booth, is the new Acid 20, and they put out the Connecticut. So anybody out there that's familiar with the regular Acid 20 with the Maduro wrapper, the natural sweetness. So for me to talk about this Connecticut wrapper, so obviously a little bit lighter, then it's a very light infusion. So it's nothing over the top. There's no cloying sweetness on it. Like I said, very, very mild and flavorful cigar. So just like the regular 20, its brother, the Maduro, did exceedingly well. I see the same thing going down with the Acid 20 Connecticut. It's going to start shipping. I know Sanj should probably have it in the next 2 weeks. Yes. So Sanj will have it. I know usually after TPE drops, it takes in between 3 to 4 weeks to start shipping. So anybody who's looking for the new one, come on down to Sanj if you're my local Jersey peeps and check in with the other shops to see who's carrying it. It should be a widely accessible item without back order, to the best of my knowledge. So you'll be seeing it in your shop soon.
That's incredible. Good time. We had a nice time chatting with you live from TPE. Were you a little delayed getting back to New Jersey there?
I was. So apparently Mother Nature likes using meth, and she needs to have an intervention. So before I left, it was almost 50 degrees. After I left, it was like, hey, let's be 12 degrees and snow sideways and ice and everything. So it worked out. I was with that. Everybody knows I was out there with Petey, and Petey didn't really get a chance to do the full Vegas strip in Old Vegas. So I'm like, hey, I'm not already tired enough. I think we should spend the whole day doing Vegas-y stuff. So went down into the Fremont Experience. So you could say that. Went to the top of the stratosphere to go look at that ride that everyone did. Hell no.
Did you do it?
Hell no. No. It's how I feel about skydiving. I'm not jumping out of a perfectly good airplane. I bungee jumped once. I'm still looking for my spleen. Don't know where it is. It's lost. I thought it'd be cool to try shit like that once. After that, never. Hey, how was that bungee jump? I'm missing some of me, and I don't know where it is.
Let's go skydiving. I love skydiving.
So you did the bungee then?
I did. And you know what? No, never again. When you're a husky guy, Tom, and you weigh 250 pounds, it's literally like tossing a fucking boulder off of the World Trade Center. You just don't do it. And the bungee, I should do this.
The bungee was able to hold your weight, though. I mean, everything. Did you get any kind of like helmet camera, any kind of photos like that?
Oh no, you're forgetting. I'm old. This is back in the day where you're lucky that your Motorola flip phone had it. Now this is a while ago, and with time and age comes a little bit more wisdom and knowledge. So I've learned things not to do again. Yeah. So it felt like an ingenious idea. Then afterwards, not so much. Like I said, and you asked what I remember. I'm like, I don't. So I wonder how well that bungee cord held when I hit the ground, because I feel like I'm missing some time. So I don't really remember. So I do know who stole my my big wheel when I was 4, though. After that,
But wait, hold on. I have to ask. How do you get out of the bunch? Like, do they have to pull you back up to the bridge?
So they pulled. No, this one wasn't. This was Action Park. There's no bridge. Woman, there were no bridges. There was no dead Matty rolling around in the creek. Oh, hell no. No.
That's sort of like,
No. This was in the harness, and then when you're done, they lower you nice and soft back in a nice cushy thing. Oh yeah, hell no.
Oh, okay.
My fat ass rolling, floating down a creek, Erica. God. Because we know that's what happened. They're like, ooh, he's a bit heavier than we thought. You know? Yeah. Yeah, no. Yeah, literally, you need like the fireman thing hoisting me back up. I'm like, ooh, this shit's ugly. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no. This was Action Park bungee jumping. I got in a nice, soft, cushy thing when I finished bouncing. And like, again, I'm sure somewhere up in Vernon, New Jersey, my spleen is somewhere. Don't know quite where, but it's there.
Oh, it's there. You know, I not too far away from what I understand, in the Hudson Valley. Last time I was seeing you all, I was in the Hudson Valley first. They do a lot of skydiving, not too far away from you guys, right?
Well, there's a couple. You can skydive out of Teterboro. You could skydive out of Newburgh. Where you flew into? You saw in
Newburgh. Yes, yeah.
Yep, you could skydive out of Newburgh. So yeah, there's a couple places. Like I said, for me, I'm like I like very much being in this plane and being airborne and not falling from it. So I'm like, and then at my size, you kind of think twice. You know, you could cause a lot of collateral damage if my chute doesn't go.
Well, I'm just thinking about could we potentially do an episode where we were about to do a skydiving experience and then, you know, end it there and then skydive.
I'm happy to live vicariously through them, Tom.
No. They'll do it.
I'll be in the plane waving like, hey y'all.
I'm down on the ground.
Like
Sanj
I said,
will
Tom,
come along for fun. Will you come along, Sanj, with us for that?
100%.
All right, good.
So we'll watch you all. Like I said, with me, there's too much collateral damage. If my chute doesn't open up, it'll be like the Earth just got hit by a fucking comet. There'll be like earthquakes, tsunamis. It'll be just, you know, the Husky comet, right? It'll be bad.
We're gonna plan for it. A skydiving.
Yeah, nothing in my mind equals good on that.
We'll do it. We'll all do it. No, it's so good to have you all on from the Lounge Experience. I did put this up down below. That way you can find Eric and Amy, where to find them. How often do you? Is it weekly? You put up a new podcast every couple of weeks?
It's weekly. It's on Thursdays. The episodes go up on iTunes and Spotify at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. So that's so cool. And you all started this. I mean, again, podcasting and podcasts were always already getting so much bigger right before the pandemic. But, you know, at 3 years, you were about a year into this, the pandemic hit. Podcasting's just blown up. I mean, what's it been like for you all with listeners, with just getting people excited about it? I bet it's really grown, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely grown. And then we've seen so many different like cigar podcasts come out, which I think is awesome. People are talking, people are getting familiar with, you know, the industry and just, you know, doing their own thing, which is awesome. And obviously, you know, we focus on us. But we noticed that was the biggest thing. There's so many different cigar podcasts out there with more reviewers, and vloggers are coming out, which is really cool. That's something that like everybody asks us, like, why aren't you guys like vlogging and doing video? That's something that you can look forward to this year.
I'm not a review, so you know.
There's so many great reviewers out there. So it's like, you know, we don't have to, there's not another one. It's okay. Because there's so many great reviewers doing some great stuff on their own vlogs and podcasts. Right. But I mean, it's weird because like after like the whole 2020, maybe like 6 months in, you see all this like fatigue happening, right? It was like this whole lives and, you know, IG lives, these Zooms, and just so much FaceTime happening. And then all of a sudden, when things kind of, maybe actually probably like a year after, when things started to open up, it's like everybody kind of disappeared, or it just became like white noise, right? So it's like all right, we're in this position as TLE. We don't want to be a part of that white noise. Like, how do we stay loud? Like, what are we doing or doing now that we can do better? And that's just adding, different people on the podcast and just, bringing different industries on into our world. Because it's not necessarily they all smoke cigars, but they do enjoy spirits, and we can talk over, a drink, or, it's just the conversations were awesome. And I think that keeping that up has kept people interested. It's like, how many times, again, do you want to hear us talk about cigars? I mean, we can, but...
And we usually do.
Yeah, we do.
Because that's what our podcast is about. But we include so many different topics and so many different things that complete the entire experience, the entire element of our podcast, that, we never get bored, basically.
Yeah, that's the main thing. It's like, I don't want to get bored.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be happy and feel good after I have this conversation of learning something new. And I want the same for our listeners. You want to hear something really cool, great conversation. I think that's what kept us, out of that white noise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Opportunity for growth will always do that. And I think you guys are always growing. And like I said, in the name itself, everything's experiential, right?
Yes.
So you do it in the experience. So when you're bringing new things to the fold, whether it's new distilleries that you know of, new cigars, and like I said, everybody's had plenty of guests outside the realm. Because again, all of these artists and things kind of mixing together, where art is equally as important.
Yes.
Music is important, because
100%.
we all talk about what makes this, what inspires us, right? And those are all the things together that kind of inspire what we do, what the ladies do. And so it never gets old, because you're always bringing that new element to the table, and it becomes a learning experience. And I think when you can come on, and if you've learned something in what you're watching and who you're talking with and who you're around, I just think it always keeps you growing as a person. It keeps your interest levels up. There's only so many times that you could say the same thing, except that Dallas fan that just walked by, Pat. Dead to me, Pat. Dang! Sorry, had to do that. But it's real. Those are the things that I think are really important, to always keep things fresh, to keep things natural. And there's always a flow. Like everybody has watched some stuff that almost seems disingenuous from time to time. And the beauty of it is there's nothing disingenuous here. What you see is what you get. People talking realistically, truthfully, and honestly about things. There's other things out there. Sanj just talked about, and other things. Some things just seem entirely disingenuous, or not real, or not studied up on. And that never happens here, because we always try to keep to the facts. And when we don't know, we learn.
Absolutely.
Right. And it constantly keeps the evolution of everything going, Tom. Again, it's like your business, with all the evolution of what's going on in your world, and how distillation is changing, and people are doing stuff in ships that was never done.
That's right.
It's ever evolving, right?
That's right. And speaking of distillation, I think I saw that. You guys are having a little. Is that Angel's Envy there?
No,
I'm
Brenne.
sorry.
Brenne.
It's a little smaller for me. Go ahead and show us what it is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Brenne 10, and that is the
I see it now. It was a little small on my. Hey, I really enjoy Brenne. I know Allison quite well. Brenne's great stuff.
Great.
Yes.
She's amazing. We love her.
She's incredible.
What are you partaking in today, Mr. Tom?
I'm having some. Though I love the Brenne. It's of course it's done there in France. It's done in Cognac, actually. It's lovely stuff. I'm doing a little Peerless Double Oak.
Very cool.
I really enjoyed the Double Oak. I was just at the distillery this week. We got back here before the snow got too crazy, and that's what I'm trying. But the Brenne is really, really nice stuff. Have you all had her on the show?
Yes. She's been on the show a couple of times.
Yeah, really nice whiskey they're doing there, and the cognac casks. And which expression is that? I could kind of see, but I'm not sure if I know.
What's that?
Which expression is that you have of the Brenne?
So this one is the Brenne 10,
Brenne
which
10.
is yep. I like this a lot, especially with cigars. Now, if I want something like a dessert, I just go to the regular Brenne. But the 10 is probably my favorite.
And
as
this
much.
this one is actually the vintage 2008, which is the
Ooh,
this is the last one that she did.
nice.
It's so good.
So good.
Every single one of the Brenne 10 that she has released is incredible. But this is just has a beautiful caramel touch to it, which I absolutely love and enjoy.
Yeah.
It is really a beautiful whiskey with the French origins and just done so lovely. And of course, I do enjoy good cognac too, whether it's whiskey or from that region. Just a good cognac, I really enjoy as well. So that's great. It looks like you're sipping on. What are you sipping on, Matty Rock?
I'm having vintage about 6:50 p.m. Starbucks green tea with peach. It has a heavenly peachy bouquet, a little bit of nuttiness from the green tea.
Speaking of fancy.
Yeah. I had to up my game a little bit on this since I let you guys partake in the adult beverage.
It's a good pairing. Hello to our friends from the Daily Ash.
Hey, Chris, what's up?
And Courtney Bowles and everybody watching. Definitely, this is where to look at the lounge experience on iTunes and Spotify is where you can find Erica and Amy and everything they do each week. What do you all have coming up on this next week's show? What will be coming up?
Well, I don't know. I really would love to have this on our show.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to have, because I know some listeners love to listen and they don't have time to watch. So right. I know we had a few, when we did promote it, we had a few people that reached out to us and said, hey, are you going to have the show that you're doing with Tom, like on your show? Like, can we listen instead of like being able to watch because we're going to be at work? So that's something that we would love to have.
I smell Tom and Matty podcast.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what's cooking, sir.
We better keep on saying something really good and wise here if they're going to be listening to us.
Well, the good news is I do have the face for radio, so it kind of works out for me.
No, I could. Hey, I'm happy to send you the audio of this if there's anything and everything you want to pull. What do you think they'd want to hear? If we're coming up with something they may want to hear, what do they want to hear?
This, like, they would probably just want to, and plus, like, they would want to know, like, who you are as well. Like, probably the majority of them know who you are, but love to ask questions about you and your background and things that you may have not really talked about, and dive deep into who you are.
Fact that you've never seen Batman and Tom Fischer in the same room.
That's right.
You never seen it, so I'm just saying.
And occasion, and only on occasion have you seen Matty and Tom in this. I mean, it's happened It's actually happened more times than I thought it might. It's happened several times lately. But,
Right.
Yeah, you got it.
How many times?
I think we're up to a solid, a 4 or 5 spot.
Several.
Already.
We did Nashville. We had Newburgh, New York. We had
Dirty Jersey.
Then we visited you in Jersey there at Sanj's. And,
and then Hoboken, New Jersey.
And Hoboken, and then the cigar show. So several. That's right.
Wow, I remember stuff. This is
are good at things.
I am impressed.
Hey, and we should also probably say the date for the upcoming Newburgh, New York fundraiser is April 3rd, right?
Oh yeah, what's going on there?
3rd. So I thought it was the 2nd, but then now my ADD might have.
I don't want to say it wrong.
So guys, keep your calendar clear for April 2nd and 3rd. I got to double check which it is. So it'll be the 2nd annual charity event that we have in honor of our fallen friend Carl Ruiz.
That's right.
We'll be with a lot of wonderful people. So it'll be up at Handsome Devil, up in Newburgh, New York, and hosted by the chefess with the mostest, Mr. Ed Randolph, the winner of Chopped, along with his super talented team up there. There'll be a bunch of special guests, which we will be announcing in the next couple of weeks that'll join us. I know you'll be joining us, Tom.
That's right. I'll be there. There it is. April 2nd.
April 2nd.
Nice.
I will be there with you guys. I'll be bringing some whiskey just like last time, doing some pairings. What a blast it was this past year. And I think it'll be a great time of year to do this, doing it in April. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the weather should be good. Like I said, unless Mother Nature goes on another bender again, but we'll try to we'll have our intervention to prevent that from happening. And like I said, it's for a great cause, for a wonderful fallen friend, and it's a great time to see everybody get together. We love it. Great food, great people, great smokes, great drink. I mean, and you're supporting great causes. I mean, what better?
That's awesome.
It'll so yet another, and we'll do another Cigar Saturday from there.
Yes, indeed.
Right, we will.
Yes.
We will. Yeah,
That's
and I was just thinking, I mean, again, what can we? Well, again, thank you for asking. Thank you all for asking about what we do. We started this bourbon blog about 15 years ago. I had been working in film and radio and TV, and decided to venture into doing a documentary on bourbon, and started a blog about it. And we've been following some great stories of whiskey and great stories like Brenne and other craft distillers coming up in the industry since then. And then how lucky was I when Matty and I kind of just did this for fun, and a couple of times and said, let's do it every Saturday, which we're coming up on our on Cigar Saturday, almost 2 years, aren't we, Matty?
Yeah, we've got to be about 100+ episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, I wish I could count past like 20, and then I'd know the exact number.
Right.
It's an impressive number. I'm willing to say right around the 100 mark, Tom.
That's right. I would imagine we're close to almost 2 years. We'll
and it sounds like another reason for balloons. I'm just saying.
More balloons.
Come on.
This
Damn,
time,
it's better than balloons. More balloons.
Yes.
Just saying.
Oh yeah.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah, we've had
this episode. It should be Matty Rock and balloons.
Matty Rock.
I think there could be an episode about that.
Bungee jumping with balloons.
We
might be so happy.
Might even get 99 red balloons playing in the background, right? Or just get 104 for the second year. Yeah.
I'd be more happy than I should be. Yeah, it's true.
Oh, I have a question for Tom.
Okay.
How many bottles do you have? Like, if you had to, I mean,
I love his smile.
Like,
Well,
is like a pinch, I feel like.
I mean, there's quite a few back here. I have them in several locations in case any world situations that ever happen where I lose some, or I can't find the rest. I have them hidden and stored away at many different universities and laboratories in case there is some need for this. Just like a distiller would hide away their mash bill, or their yeast strain, in case a distiller ever burned.
That sounded very Batman-ish.
Yeah,
very Batman.
Just saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would imagine hundreds, probably. I mean, I said 500 to my wife this past week. She said, "Oh no, way more than 500." I don't know, but quite a few. A few.
So
Sometimes we'll even finish one. It happens that we finish one occasionally.
Like, I feel like you wouldn't be able to, though.
It's tougher because you bounce, but things we really love, we go back to when we finish.
Right.
Exactly.
You're
I'm
not
not
sticking
finished
to
the
the
bottle.
spirit, man. You're gonna push her right through.
I'm not finishing a bottle every day. I can tell you that. I mean, it's not like a fallen soldier every day. But I go through phases. I have things I like and I go to, and then the good thing is whenever a bottle is at least, the whole thing of a glass of milk being half full or half empty. Well, however you see it, I'm going to say half full. If it's at least half full, a bottle of whiskey will last, indefinitely. Once it starts going past that halfway mark and goes further and further down, with distilled spirits, you should probably drink it the next year or so, because if it's getting more oxygen in than whiskey, it'll oxidize. So it will be not as good.
Oh,
So
that's a fun fact.
Yep, it'll start to lose its flavor and lose its essence.
I didn't know that.
So, listeners, let's find out where Tom Fischer lives, because we need to go and drink.
Yeah. Well, remember that the collection is spread out many places.
Tom's like, well,
Well, Tom, I think that you might need to drop those pins real quick.
I know those pins. Yeah.
Tom, you're gonna run back and tell Annabelle, burn the treasure maps, burn them. They're coming. You'll never know. It's in our memories now.
It's in the secret. It's in that secret
Burn them,
place.
shred them, hurry.
But no, if you're ever in the area, and obviously next time we see you, we'll bring you something, of course. Next time we're in New Jersey, we'll bring something special to pair with cigars. Or again, I'm always happy to jump on one of your shows. Maybe we can get some interesting things sent to you all whiskey wise, and we can all have the same stick and whiskey, and we can do it.
That.
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah, you would love that because there's so many questions. I mean, like that's something that we learned so much about during like quarantine, right? Like here, a lot of people were drinking more and experience. They wanted to experience, different types of spirits, and it was just wild. It was just boomed all of a sudden, and so it's like what do you get? Okay, so we want to try something different. Well, where do we go? How do we do it? It's not. I thought it would be like the cigar world where I could say, okay, well, this is what I'm looking for, but it's so hard to get someone like locally to be able, like, you walk into that liquor store, say, hey, this is what I'm looking for. You're getting like nothing. Like there is no like person that's going to be able to guide you.
You feel like it's easier to find a guide in a cigar, tobacco shop or lounge than it is in a liquor store.
I feel like it would be.
I
feel like it would be. Right?
And it's a sometimes thing because there's shops that you go to that are just looking to sell what's on the shelves. But yeah, I think the essence of being a sommelier is greatly underappreciated. Where somebody could talk to you about all the notes and the definition and the body, because remember, it goes into gunning into pretty deep stuff and origin and something that's oaky or something that's peaty and like I said, once you're switching up across the board, everything gets different. Yeah. So your sommelier, when it comes to wines, is going to have a much different take and a much different outlook on somebody who's doing ryes and bourbons and whiskeys. And then it's going to be different with somebody who does Armagnacs and cognacs and everything else. So it's kind of broken out even more, which I think that's what makes it really more difficult because you're going to find somebody who really knows their wines that's not going to know the other spirits. So I think there's such a breadth of information out there. It's going to be almost impossible to always hone in on somebody locally. It's going to be able to talk to you about all, because like, hey, I want this whiskey, but now how about wines? It's like, I'm not really an expert in wines. You might have to see so-and-so. Somebody with tobacco, for the most part, can at least give you a fair shake in it, right?
Right. I only been to one location, one liquor store my entire life in which I've walked in. The New York one. That every single time I walked in.
So it's great.
Listen, there's 3 associates in that location. It's Ambassador's Wine and Spirits in 2nd Avenue and 53rd Street. It is incredible. They knew everything. Every time that I asked for something, they just knew where to pinpoint.
Well, they all drank everything.
Right, everything. So there's 3 associates there. That between the 3 of them, they all they had everything. They drank everything in that location.
Over 5,000 bottles.
Insane.
They had they had a
cellar. They had
downstairs.
Everything.
It was like you were walking through old world France, like a wine cellar feel. It had like the French cobbled stone
on the basement. It was so
like
wild.
They have these like gates like on certain sections where you can go in, and it was
that's where I like to go.
Yeah, it was. But I mean, like they would definitely. You don't have to.
Hi,
it's okay. See,
how are you?
But yeah, I mean, that's the only one where you can actually talk to someone and say, hey, listen, this is my palate. This is what I look for. Immediately, they'll go anywhere and they'll tell you.
Well, I would hope. I mean, and I think that again, depending upon where you're at, we have a local spirit store where our good friend Walter is. It's a place called High Spirits, and Walter just is phenomenally such great expertise on wine and spirits, and is a great guide. But I can definitely see what you're saying. Hopefully, more and more liquor stores are getting people that really can be great guides. I mean, one thing I visualize when I'm in a cigar lounge or maybe a cigar shop, depending upon where the region is often we'll go in and someone person that works there or the manager, they're actually able to have a cigar as they're working, and be tasting through a number of them. And again, some liquor stores may have a wine tasting or tasting, but usually we're not going in and having, seeing somebody that's, having 5 or 6, things as they're helping.
Right.
Which, it can happen. I guess it can happen in some locations. I'm thinking about the differences between the two experientially. Though if I did walk into a spirit shop or liquor store and they were trying a variety of things, I would say, hey, they know what they're doing. Even if they had a little buzz going, I'd be like, they know what they're talking about, right?
Yeah, totally.
They might have a big buzz going. Could happen.
Maybe.
Party.
Party.
It's like going to a great restaurant for the experiential. Now you have people that have nice wine cabinets, but the knowledge is not there. So you go somewhere like Smith & Wollensky's in New York, and I think, Tom, you already know this probably. I believe still to date, it's the 2nd or 3rd best wine cabinet in the United States of America.
Really?
And these guys, so when you guys want to go, I'll live vicariously through you, and I'll do the driving. So go to Smith & Wollensky, and like I said, you're gonna have a great piece of meat, but you're also gonna have the guys that work there are actually true sommeliers. You're gonna know what you're drinking, what pairs up, and Tom, that's probably a trip that when you're here we have to do, because I'm sure
Let's do it.
I'm sure if you ask your constituents, I still think it's number 2 or number 3, right, in the U.S.
Tell me the name of the place once again, Matty.
Smith & Wollensky's.
That's on 2nd Avenue and 46?
49th.
49th
and 3rd, I believe.
I thought it was 2nd.
It's 2nd or 3rd. It's 49th, 2nd or 3rd. But
Yeah.
you know what goes better with, and again, the whole thing back in the day, used to be able to have a smoke there like you could at all the other places. Like used to be able to go have a smoke at Morton's at the bar. Used to be able to go to the Capitol Grill. I remember when I was working down in DC, used to be able to pop up at the bar and have a smoke. So unfortunately, with how things are today, that's part of the experiential that is surely missed. I mean, that was part of the decline of my club, that you were no longer able to smoke indoors anymore. So that killed a whole realm of being able to bring those experiences together. But there's nothing you can do about it. It's just the sign of the times, and you and you have to move on, and you have to keep your eye open on people who still do offer those type of experiential things. I think since COVID's starting to wind down, I think we're going to find things where you're going to find the big liquor guys. I know you'll be back out on the road, Tom, where people will be able to go to a cigar lounge and have pairings. And again, it's all about the experiential, where you mix the foods and the bourbons and the wines and the cigars together, and you make a great shindig. I know McClellan's used to do it all the time. McClellan's even used to do it at Famous. And every now and then you got lucky. We had one year where dude actually finished with a 30, and most people don't get their hands on a 30, as we all know.
Is there a chance? I mean, just thinking of a question that I might not typically even contemplate. Is there a chance that those days will ever come back where states, regions will allow a cigar or other smoking again in a smoking section? A lot of things have been cyclical, right? Pre-prohibition, cocktails came back from the 1920s, the teens. Now there's a new cocktail.
My personal opinion is I say no, because I don't think people fight hard enough anymore for things that they truly love or believe in. And when they do, it's such a small amount of people who fight for it. I mean, Prohibition, remember, you had blood in the streets, man.
Right.
I mean, people fought to bring it back and said, this is one of the few enjoyable moments of our life. You're not going to destroy it because you made it. And again, politics, dropped into it. So I don't think people are willing to make those kind of commitments anymore. I think people roll too quickly. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. But when something happens, people just kind of say, hey, this sucks, and they just move on instead of saying, hey, I have convictions to this. It's important to me. We need to fight a good fight. And you know what? I understand you don't want smoking in X, but why can't A, B, and C have a place that's theirs, and why can't this exist in this format with there being so much legislation piled on top of legislation just to do something simple? I mean, at the end of the day, everything is choice, right? So it's unfortunate.
What are you all? Eric, Amy, what are your thoughts?
I just want to wipe out the entire government and just change all the laws once again, and then just go back to 19. 60s. I don't know. 70s.
Now I'm waiting for the SWAT helicopter. Look, Sanj is connected to.
Oh shit!
Since Sanj is connected with everyone, he's already signing us into witness protection. As soon as this episode ends.
This could be dangerous.
You may call me Pickles Calzone. I'm Pickles Calzone.
Sanj, could it happen again? What do you think?
So here's the thing, right? So a lot of non-smoking laws, especially in New Jersey.
Right.
The way the way it's written, a lot of people don't understand. So, is a cigar anything smoking banned in bars and restaurants? Absolutely not. What the law says is, if your sales of tobacco product, we talked about, I think, in one of our old episodes.
Yeah.
If your laws, the New Jersey law said, if your sales of tobacco product is more than 51%, whether it's a food or alcohol or anything, you could allow people to smoke inside your establishment, right? But this is also the choice of business owner not to allow smoking, because what happened, so, you have to go back, airplane, before you travel, you were allowed to smoke in a plane, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Do you know why they banned that?
Why?
Inside airplane is the cleanest air you're going to breathe, the best filtering system they have. But if you look at the protection on a window, there's 2 tiny holes on that window.
Right.
That's a recycling system, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because the plane's so high and the velocity is usually used to make, if people smoke, black lines on a plane. And every few months they had to paint the plane because it got baked into it because of the heat of the velocity. So they say, you know what? Hell with it. We're going to ban this. That's the only reason it's banned.
What?
Yeah. So Google it.
I did not know this shit.
Yeah, so I'm here
Education
now.
today, kids. Education.
So
So
that was the reason airplane banned smoking. No other reason, right? Now in New Jersey, there are restaurants and bars that you could smoke, eat, drink at the same time, right? Mm-hmm. So JR Tobacco, where Amy works, you could smoke and drink, right? And eat. There are restaurants that you could do it. So that is their choice. So JR, where she works, Casa del Monte Cristo,
right.
That place has more than 51% of tobacco sale. So if tomorrow, if I decide to add a restaurant here, I have no problem with it. They can't stop me.
Yeah.
So how's the other way you tackle? So there is a restaurant that you allowed to smoke, but they allow you also to bring cigars from outside. So the way they do it, if you look at their cigar menu, is 51% more expensive than any entree they got. The most expensive thing, let's say, is $10 in the menu, as far as the food goes. Their cigar might be $52. Right?
Which we have seen happen in a lot of places.
So that price is, most people don't understand. That price is not the restaurant or the bar owner is trying to rob you, but that is just one of the loopholes that they have to show that this is 51% more.
It's a loop of actually what they sell or what the price is marked.
I'm sorry?
Is it what they sell or what the price is marked at? It's the sales, right?
Right. So now the law doesn't say how many, you could sell one cigar and you could sell 1,000 drinks. Law doesn't say what you have to sell. As long as your price is in the menu, it's 51% higher, tobacco menu.
Okay, got it. And is that just in New Jersey or is that in other states?
Everywhere.
Okay, got it.
So everywhere, it's a choice. There is a bar next door to us, right? Few doors down. And they have a perfect environment. They have a 2-stage. So all they have to do, also the law says, if you provide, so let's say if you're not grandfathered in and you want to do a cigar lounge, the law says you couldn't have, if you had a hard force air system, you couldn't have a same heating and cooling system in your lounge as in your retail spot.
Right.
You have to have 2 separated. And that's it. Once the 2 separated, it's legal. Because the only thing they don't want is the same heat, because recycles and, there is a return system. So they don't want the smoke to go in. So, if you wanted to do it, it's doable. But, a lot of people chose not to put second heating and second air conditioning system.
Right. Gotcha.
And again, it's a personal choice. So it's the law's there, yes, but it's law so lenient It's just people don't seem to understand what they're saying.
But also, like, too, it's like everybody doesn't want to hear people bitching and complaining, right? It's like, oh, I'm gonna lose customers because there's cigar smoking. Like, I know multiple places that used to allow smoking outside within their vicinity. They have gotten rid of it because of too many complaints from people. So they said, oh, it's banned.
But that is a new thing, though. Mm-hmm. So if you look at 5-6 years ago, not 20, 5, 6, 7 years ago, right? Nobody cared. So today, listen, I walk in a lot of times. I have a cigar in my hand, I'm chewing on it. Cigar is not even lit. And people complain, oh, you walking with the cigar. What the hell? So it's a new thing now. I mean,
right.
Listen, it's a tolerance is gone, it's like hooray for me and F you, and it doesn't work that way.
We've had the conversation before, and it's funny, and I think people should always talk about it like that. Like, if it's so easy for you to go what after I love, I said, hey, you like a steak? Well, guess what? The government says it's not really healthy if you eat more than 4 ounces. So watch out. We could come after yours, or you're against smoking and everything else. Well, you like bicycle riding in packs on the side of the road where everybody thinks they're Lance, and there's 97 of you, and it's not safe. You know what? I'll put it into law. You can't do it anymore. It's unsafe. So I think all of these things are spoken about in the wrong light. I think if you explain to people, like, I understand, and like, if you don't like it, don't do it. But you need to be careful, because the things that you like, somebody one day is going to come after what you like. Right. And when you care about it, if people start expressing themselves, instead of yelling and screaming, just, hey, you know what? You can't bike and do this anymore. You can't have this steak. You can't have this drink. If you're that easy to come to an opinion about something I do that you don't have to be a part of, there could be somebody coming with an opinion about what you do and they don't like. And kind of, it's terrible that you have to force respect. But if you don't, more and more things, right, are going to be taken away, because it goes back to what I said. We're allowing things to be taken away.
Yes.
My pedestal for that, I'll jump on the, hey, dude, you're not going to be Lance Armstrong and ride 78 with you guys, because if by mistake I bump one of you guys because there's nowhere to go, I'm going to jail for the rest of my life. Well, now the law says you can't do it. So I'm taking it from you. I don't care that it's important to you. It's gone. And that's what people are doing. Yep. Stop taking things away from people because they're not important to you. It's irrelevant. Don't do it. It's like anything else. You don't like it, and I've had it. I'll be on a beach in New Jersey where there's nobody. Yeah. And I'll literally there's literally exactly.
I'll join you.
There's like no one there. Like the one person walked by. I can't believe you spoke like. Bitch, there's a whole beach. Go away. I'm like, but that one person wants to let you know you're offending me. I'm like, no, I'm going to offend you in a couple of moments. Keep talking. It's like, but that's what we've come to. Yeah. It's like, let everybody do their thing, and we got to come back and try to find that middle ground where you don't have to agree with somebody with what somebody's doing, but if you're not hurting anyone, there's no collateral damage, then have a nice day, go about your business.
That's right.
That's it.
Agreed.
That's right. So important, and I like this. I like the conversation here on the Cigar Saturday. This is why we do this. We have a lot of fun on Cigar Saturday, and what a pleasure to have other friends in the cigar world. It's Eric and Amy of the Lounge Experience. Make sure, a lot of people have been watching tonight. I hope you've gone on to iTunes and Spotify while we've been live. And watching this later, you're watching it later, listening later. Make sure you look for them, because they've been at it now for nearly 3 years. 3 years it's coming up, right?
Yeah.
Is there a special cigar you're going to smoke on your 3rd anniversary? What are you going to? Or a thing you're going to do? And Matty will bring balloons. Anything else? What's going to happen?
Oh, I think I just maybe get a bunch of us together and just, have a good dinner and enjoy some cigars and just celebrate. I think that'll be, with those who really, have been supporting us since day one and that we enjoy their company with. So I know so many of our listeners and supporters are all over the world. We wish we could bring everybody in. But
bring balloons.
Bring balloons. But I think that's
coffee.
That's what I want.
Thank you. Coffee.
Well, tapping on Tom for the spirits and Sanj for the SP 1014s.
Of course. Yeah.
Anything they want.
Yeah, man.
I love it.
That's it. That's all I want.
Yeah, well, we'll find a time where we can all be sipping and smoking the same. Maybe we'll do an SP 1014 pairing with, and we'll send you all out some whiskey, and we'll do something
Absolutely.
on your show.
Yeah.
Well, I'll get you all the audio from this show in case there's any kind of interesting gems from it.
Oh, I think
Which-
there's a
Definitely,
lot.
yes,
Gems.
of course.
This
There's
smells
a
like
lot.
smells like an hour of gems to me.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. Indeed it does.
Oh, yeah.
Indeed it is.
Yes. No, it's so good to see you all, and I'm glad. And everything at Sanj, the launch, I hear it continues to get some good feedback on your cigars. Everybody's saying good things.
Yes, yes.
That's great.
So many good things.
So many
So
good
far,
things.
nothing negative.
Great. That's good. Well, good. Hey, it's good to see all of you. And
Here.
yeah, thanks for hanging out with us on Cigar Saturday here. A lot of great. Hey, thank you everybody who's been watching, for sharing and liking this. And Matty, do we know what's happening next week? Do we have any ideas?
Not sure which guests I'll have there. I'm having people clear their schedule now. So as like ADD as I have, it could be either a wrestler, a chef, or a screenwriter. So it'll be choose A, B, or C. So we will find out by midweek who our guest will be.
It'll be what's behind door number A, B, or C, except they're not
Yeah.
number C.
But they're all winners, Tom. All winners. There's nobody losing.
All winners.
Nobody loses.
Mm-hmm. No, thank you so much, Tom, for having
Erica,
us.
Amy, it's so good to see you all again, and keep up the great work on the
Same here.
podcast. And Sanj, Matty, always a pleasure. Y'all have a good night in New Jersey and wherever you're watching from. Cheers.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Salud, much love,
Cheers.
everybody. See y'all soon.
Bye.